Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Please rise. Join us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Welcome, everyone who's in the audience here, viewing us at home. Call the meeting to order. Item number 3, proclamation, Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. Mr. Fode, I think there's a...
Yep. Mr. Chairman, I move to proclaim the month of November 2012 as Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month in North Reading and read the attached proclamation.
Motion. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
You want to read it?
I'll read it. Sure.
Get assigned 2 copies, Mr. Chair.
Proclamation. Whereas in 2012, an estimated 43,920 people will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in the United States, and 37,390 will die from this disease. Whereas pancreatic cancer is one of the deadliest cancers, is the 4th leading cause of cancer death in the United States, and is the only major cancer with a 5-year relative survival rate in the single digits at just 6%. Whereas when symptoms of pancreatic cancer present themselves, it is usually too late for an optimistic prognosis, and 74% of pancreatic cancer patients die within the first year of their diagnosis, while 94% of pancreatic cancer patients die within the first 5 years. Whereas approximately 910 deaths will occur in Massachusetts in 2012. Whereas there is no cure for pancreatic cancer, and there have been no significant improvements in survival rates in the last 40 years. Whereas the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network is the first and only national patient advocacy organization that serves the pancreatic cancer community in North Reading and nationwide by focusing its efforts on public policy, research funding, patient services, and public awareness and education related to developing effective treatments and a cure for pancreatic cancer. Whereas the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network and its affiliates in North Reading support those patients currently battling pancreatic cancer, as well as to those who have lost their lives to the disease and are committed to nothing less than a cure. Whereas the good health and well-being of the residents of North Reading are enhanced as a direct result of increased awareness about pancreatic cancer and research into early detection, causes, and effective treatments. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Selectmen of North Reading, do hereby proclaim the month of November 2012 as Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. Signed, Sean T. Delaney, Chairman, Board of Selectmen. Mary Hayden, who is present. Mary, if you would like to come up and say a few words. Thank you for bringing it forward to the board, and we are more than happy to proclaim this month Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month.
Thank you very much. As you read all the statistics, it is a very disheartening diagnosis when you get it. And a little over a year ago, I knew very few people who had this disease and was not aware of all of this. The other cancers kind of take over for the research, and rightfully so. But my sister-in-law was diagnosed 13 months ago, and people that I brought with me also, Kim Miles from North Reading, her grandmother, aunt, and father passed away from it, and Yardhem Jaraman, his brother, passed away. And so the research is what we need to fight for this, and that's why we're asking so many towns in Massachusetts for these proclamations, for the awareness, and we thank you so much for considering it and for doing that this evening.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
right here.
Oh. Item 4, proclamation, Veterans Day. It comes back in the top. Just let's go on to item 4.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I move to read the attached Veterans Day proclamation.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. North Reading Veterans Day 2012 proclamation. Whereas on this day we gather here to honor our men and women who have courageously taken up arms to secure, defend, and maintain the very core principles which our nation was founded: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's fine. Bless you. Since the birth of our nation, no single generation has been spared the responsibility of defending our aggressors domestically or abroad. And whereas since 1776, more than 40 million men and women have chosen a committed path of sacrifice and bravery to proudly wear the uniform of United States soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen to protect the borders of this great land. Freedom is not free. More than 1 million sons and daughters on land, sea, and air have sacrificed the ultimate, and over 83,000 warriors are missing in action from WW2 to today. It is generations of the highest caliber of men and women who have chosen the noble path of courage, strength, and conviction to accept with honor and pride their call of duty to protect and defend these United States, a debt we can never repay. And whereas on this day we give recognition and respect to the families of our veterans and warriors for the sacrifices they have made. Their continued support is imperative to the continued success of these warriors' struggle to overcome the adversities of war, mentally and physically. For the families who have sacrificed the ultimate, their lives have changed forever. They carry the legacy of their loved one through memories. For those who have loved ones missing in action or are held captive, continue to pray for their return. And whereas on this day we must renew our commitment, we must demonstrate through our actions, allowing our young Americans to grasp the importance of honor, respect, and appreciation for the valor and sacrifice of our veterans and warriors. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Selectmen of North Reading, do hereby proclaim that Veterans Day shall be celebrated on this 11th day of November 2012 in the town of North Reading. We encourage you to continue to display the American flag with pride on your homes, offices, and town buildings to recognize the valor and sacrifices of our veterans and warriors through ceremony and prayer. Signed, Sean T. Delaney, Chairman, Board of Selectmen. Susan Magner's here. Susan?
Yep.
Care to come up?
That proclamation wasn't in our packet, right?
No.
I couldn't find it.
Good evening, everybody. I know there's been a lot of controversy about, questioning about when the actual day the ceremonies are going to be held, but it's always the 11th month, the 11th day, the 11th hour, so I'm not changing anything. But I would really like to get the word out because I'm really trying very hard to get the young kids involved. Colleen Fitzpatrick, who just received her Gold Scout Award, is going to be our Master of Ceremonies, and Janelle Ewell is actually going to sing the national anthem for us as well. And I'm also enticing the young children to come in because I'm going to have actually pictures for them to draw and for them to put a little tidbit on the bottom so we can get these mailed out to the troops as well. So I'm really trying really hard to get them all involved and the families. So I thank you very much for all your help. Mr. Delaney, am I adding you to my?
I think due to family commitment, Mr.
Okay.
Briscoe is going to be representing the Board of Selectmen.
Great, awesome.
Susan,
And,
can you just let the public know where? It's the 11th hour. 11th
oh,
day,
it's
11th
on the
hour,
common,
on the common.
right by our
Make sure.
flagpole. And then afterwards is refreshments at the senior center, and the wall will be up for display as well. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Photo for the proclamation.
Photo with the,
Pancreatic
One
cancer.
photo?
What, you want to take a little photo op?
Just you give it to them?
Everybody, we're gonna surround you.
Whoa. Thank you.
Check the camera.
Save the camera.
Yep.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, I don't have to comment. It was easy.
Raising the awareness.
Very much. You're not gonna have that comment.
Photoshop.
item 5.
Do you have the proclamation?
Sorry.
Two people here in the back.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to ask if we can skip down to item 12, discuss Pine Forest Park litigation, because I know there's a couple people in the audience who are here for that particular item. What I can report tonight, that the board is close to coming to a tentative agreement with the developer of that particular property. We're going to actually have, at our meeting on the 19th, we'll be discussing it in more detail. The board has a draft agreement that it has to consider. We'll have to do that in executive session. There's a couple items that have to be worked out. So we're not in a position to discuss it publicly this evening, but we expect to be in that position 2 weeks from tonight.
Just for further clarification, Mr. and Mrs. Hobby here, you're aware that the town of Andover has actually issued them a permit for the subdivision?
50 stipulations.
With what?
With 50 stipulations.
50 stipulations? Oh, okay.
He's cutting trees down now, so I don't know what's going on. He's about to clear the thing out.
Yeah, he's at the point where he's ready to develop, either with or without water from the town of North Reading, and that's about what we're,
I think with or without permission.
No,
I don't agree with that. It's my understanding he's gotten his approvals, and maybe with conditions from Andover, and one of those conditions is either his wells and cisterns or water from the town of North Reading.
And an opening to 125,
right?
That's correct?
and North Reading Police and Fire being their first responders.
No.
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 Andover Fire Chief said that they're gonna be first responders. So,
And who's gonna be first responders?
huh?
Who's gonna be, Bobby, who?
Andover.
Andover will be
Andover.
first responders,
Right.
correct,
So that means you need an opening to get them in there.
It will. It will be off of 125.
yes.
This will be emergency access through 125.
It
That hasn't been,
it has been approved by the State Department
has to
of,
be approved.
it has
It
been,
was.
Department of Transportation, the
Yeah.
State Department of Transportation, just to bring you up to date, has approved an opening off of 125 for emergency access only. It's gonna have to be gated and, for emergency
Brandon
personnel.
Terrace,
Yes. Yep, round and town. So that has been approved by the State Department of Transportation.
There'll be an electronic gate.
All right, so that's been approved, and they're gonna be the first, and Andover will be the first responders
Yeah.
for police and fire. Any public school children, again, they're gonna have to come down Burrows Road, Lakeside Boulevard, come in and pick them up.
So he's ready to start moving.
He's ready to go.
Correct.
He's ready to go, and again, the town is in a, is party to a suit at this particular point in time, which has been ongoing for, how many years, Bobby?
About 20?
Yeah, about 20, 15 to 20 years. So we're at a junction now where we have to contemplate what our next move is and whether we're going to enter into an agreement, recognize the realization, or what else we're going to do. So we're very close to coming to some conclusion, but before we do that, as the chairman indicated, at our meeting on the 19th, it's our intention to outline where we're at, where we're probably going to be going, and hear from the residents.
Very good.
All right?
Well, thank you for the information.
All right.
Now, please come on the 19th.
Tell your neighbors, too.
Huh?
Tell your neighbors, to come down on the 19th.
On the
We'd be happy to
19th.
hear that.
All right?
All right.
Thank
Give me
you.
a call.
All right,
All right, Bob.
thank you very much, appreciate it.
You're welcome. Back to item 5, minutes, October 15th, 2012, regular session.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the October 15, 2012 regular session minutes as written.
Second.
A motion, and a second. Any discussion
Yes.
regarding Mr. Fode?
Just under old and new business, it is Erica Hansen, not Eric Hansen.
Okay. Other than that, so do it as amended?
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Minutes, October 24th, 2012, executive session.
That was when we turned back, right?
No, I don't think so.
Nope.
These are the
That
ones
would've
I,
been, last meeting.
Oh,
That was last meeting.
Oh,
these
last
are the
one.
ones I weren't. I wasn't here for, so.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the October 24th, 2012 executive session minutes as written.
Second?
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none? No?
Just-
Oh,
just-
oh.
Mr. Fode will be abstaining.
Will
right?
abstain, correct, thank you.
Any further? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No one? One abstention.
All right. So Joe, you can just note, I made the motion, Bob seconded it,
Yep, thank you.
and then the vote was 4-0 and 1.
Item
You
6,
abstain.
legal bills for September.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve legal bills for August 2012 in the amount of $5,550.77 as follows. Copeland and Page, PC General, $4,677.77. Copeland and Page, PC Labor, $216. West, $657, for a total of $5,550.77.
Second.
A motion? Oh, Mr. Valiakonis.
Just a correction in the motion, it was for September. September, not August.
Oh, the motion had said August?
Yes, and that was not Mr. Fode's fault. The motion is incorrect, so it is
Oh.
September. Just to add, of the $4,677, about $1,200 of that is attributable to costs going for October town meeting. Most of the background work is done during the month of September, so just keep that in mind.
August to September.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Valiakonis.
My second was for September.
Yeah, my motion was for September.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item 7, anyone here for public comment? No? Moving on, item 8, Great American Tavern, consider extension of patio hours. Mr. Valiakonis, I see that in our supplemental packet, the police department had done another outstanding job in terms of documenting whether or not there were any calls or reports of any noise violations and so forth down around that area. But I don't happen to see that
Any
there were any. Nor do I
I think
see
there was
anyone
a
from Great American Tavern here.
Question about loud noise. I think there was a complaint that was in there, if you read through the detail, but it was not a lot.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it was actually a complaint, but I believe the police officer noted that while he was parked across the
He heard it.
street, he could hear the music, but it was off before 10 o'clock. As they had stated here, that they shut off the music at 10 o'clock. He just stated that at 10 o'clock it had ended. That's the only one that I saw of any But again, I don't think that's any effect on the outside patio.
No, it'd be the neighbors in the back and.
Right.
Right. If we're talking about just the patio, I mean, we agreed to give them tentative, temporary extension of the
Right.
patio hours. And
Through
it doesn't seem
September.
like there's any issue.
I'm just curious, I don't see anyone from Great American Tavern. Do we actually give them notice that?
We typically give them a reason as to this is on the agenda, that's routine.
I know routine and typically, I'm asking specifically.
Yeah,
They would give a notice.
Mhm.
Is there further discussion on this item? We don't even have.
Just, I know we publish our agenda, but over the last few meetings in relation to Great American Tavern, we have had neighborhood input. I just didn't know if we should have notified some of those people who had participated in the discussion previously that we were going to be considering this, or that the request has been put in. So maybe if we can just postpone it to our next meeting, as far as any, I don't expect they're going to be out in the patio tonight.
Or anytime the rest of the day. I don't know.
But, maybe there's going to be a
Right, it's,
Indian
can't be an
summer
urgent matter
coming up sometime,
anymore.
but, just to give adequate notification to the neighbors, again, that we're going to be considering the request by Great American Tavern that, they've made a request to the board to extend the hours, and we'll consider it at the 19th, meeting of the 19th, and I don't know what the agenda's looking like, but,
Maybe,
Tax classification hearing.
oh, that's minor.
that'll go smoothly. Anticipate that. Mr. Prisco?
We delay it till then, it doesn't change anything for them, the temporary doesn't expire, right?
It already
No, I
expired.
already did.
It already expired in
End of
September.
September.
At the end of September, it expired. But I just think adequate notification to the
Oh, yeah,
neighbors.
no, I
that
agree,
we're
I
gonna be
think they
discussing
should be here, no
Yeah,
doubt.
And I
But,
think
you
they're
know.
past the point where they
Yeah,
need
they
it.
probably don't need it, I just want to know.
Problem with postponing until the 19th? Is that consensus of the board?
Yeah, I think it's good to have the neighbors here.
At least give them an opportunity to be here.
How are we gonna do that? In what form are we gonna notify them?
Well, I think I'm discussing it tonight, and that maybe as far as the coverage of the meeting, maybe there'll be some talk that requests have been made of the board to extend the patio hours at the Great American Tavern, and that we'll be considering it on the 19th, for anybody that's interested in having any input. I don't think it requires another mailing of notification.
It's not a hearing.
It's not a hearing, so.
Maybe even a posting on our news, an announcement to the town website.
Okay.
Could always do a
Doesn't
code
cost
red call.
anything.
Your code red call, or the
Well,
neighbor?
not an emergency, but just notification, just an administrative notification to the people in the neighborhood. Might
Good
work.
idea. I don't know.
It's a little
I wouldn't
slippery
agree to
slope.
that. I mean, 'cause we don't want it to become that kind of a tool.
I would prefer, if you were concerned about actually reaching the neighbors, that you just send out a notice to the abutters.
Or if we look back at the previous minutes of our meeting, where people identified themselves, just notify those people, and again, they tend to be the opinion leaders within their neighborhood and had the most interest at that particular time, they can spread the word to their neighbors. So it might be, half a
That's an
dozen people.
effective way to do it.
I think,
That's a good point.
yeah, so we just go back to the minutes of the last meeting and notify
Sure.
those half a dozen people that came and spoke, and expressed their concerns.
Item 9, storm recap, Hurricane Sandy.
And that's in the supplement, right?
No.
No.
They actually did receive a financial report on the supplement, so if you do look, there is a recap of our costs incurred with the storm. And I would ask you to take a look at that before I just begin a little bit of the discussion.
Is it that last page? No.
Page
It's
11,
actually on
page 11 of the supplement.
Yeah, okay, it's the beginning of that white section.
So you can see our costs were not major. We incurred $23,000 in costs broken down between the DPW, $9,294, police, $4,379, and fire department, $9,436. And you can see the number of hours that were involved here. On the DPW side, they began prep work on Thursday. We sent out a notice for the DPW to begin ramping up for the storm, and you see some of the costs associated with that here, 21.4 hours. I think overall the town did a pretty good job in responding to the incident. There were a total of 62 calls that were handled during the course of the emergency. There were many, many calls that came in, but not all of them were associated with the event. The Emergency Operations Center, we began our operations on Friday, where we started off with a meeting. We confirmed all of our contact information. We did a roundtable with any of the issues that came up. We invited RMLD to the meeting, went back and we watched the weather. We got together Monday morning at 9 a.m. At that time, the storm was imminent. We knew that it was on the doorstep, and I made a decision to open the Emergency Operations Center, or the EOC, at noontime. So that's when we began meeting the EOC. The EOC, for layman's terms, is the Emergency Operations Center. It's with the town administrator, the police representatives of the DPW, and emergency management. But we also have the Department of Elder Affairs involved, the schools involved, and the Board of Health involved. So those were the, along with engineering and the water department, we got together periodically throughout the day to discuss the status and see what resources were needed. As the board knows from the incident reports that were forwarded, all of our calls fell in 3 areas. They were flooding, which in the past has been significant issues. This year, the storm was not a major flood concern because water levels were fairly low. However, the major areas involved and power outages, and typically those two things are associated with each other. But there was a significant number of calls that came in, particularly during the storm when it was most severe. But I think that we have sufficient level of staffing. The fire department went to a level 3, which was an all-call of all of their personnel, that they were busy throughout the event, and the police department added additional staffing during the duration of the event. So what could we do better? I would like to see, there are a couple of things I want to mention publicly at the incident. RMLD was present for our meeting on Friday, however, they're not present during the storm. If we were to have a more severe storm, I think it's important and critical to RMLD to have someone present in our operations center. Most of the calls come in involve people who don't have power. And it's very important that someone be there to process those requests. There are major circuits that go down. There was a line that went to the DPW. People say that's not a big deal, but there's a very large substation behind there. And if that line would have been lost, it would have caused significant in the community. And it would be important to have, again, from RMLD present in the event that we have a more severe event. 2, I'd like to see better use of Code Red for employees. We're getting the word out to the public, but I think that in terms of buying our employees about closings, about the staff that are better going. Number 3, directing non-emergency calls from police and fire district. A little bit difficult in terms of how we do that, but I can assure you during the course of the storm, we received as many calls about people when trash collection was going to be as people that were reporting that there was a tree through their roof. So finding some way of having those calls go to a less urgent phone number versus coming to the 911 operations center ties up a lot of people. And then the 4th recommendation that I'm going to make is that we better define the responsibilities of those who are present in the EOC. We're doing a better job at that. We have some part-time volunteer personnel, and those part-time personnel need to really understand what their role is during the course of the event. So we'll endeavor that those who are EOC have a crystal clear understanding of some responsibilities. So those are the 4 takeaways from the event. Next, what is we have to do a 5-day of this week to Massachusetts to be seen whether the storm will be emergency declaration, whether the town is coming back with the first mandate requirement is all of our calls, and then we will sit back and wait and see what's going to happen. Reimbursement. That's it.
I just want to say I think it was a job by you and everyone else involved here. the public's not aware, but we was receiving updates on a periodic basis, starting early Monday morning all the way through Tuesday. So we were well informed. People were reaching out to us, so we knew what was happening. Just very well done. So kudos to your complete staff. It was well done.
On we were getting, I think you had mentioned the target dates for completion of electrical failures. Done more on that schedule?
The electrical failure remain and we require the private electric because their service goes.
I'd just like to add on, because I think you did a great job. It was, I did have the opportunity to say hello to everybody. It was extremely organized. I actually received some of the public called. Somebody last storm, people said, you know, they weren't response a year ago. I think it's fantastic. In regards to your idea with the RML to directly.
Yeah, conversation with the manager at RML. I know they stretched their resources, but I think the Bowen a more severe event, it's important to have the president.
I mean, I'd be able to John, make them aware, or I can do you if you want.
That would be appreciated.
And you talked about this non-emergency.
But people in the course of an event tend not to know what that is and don't know which number to call.
Well, then we just need to do a campaign, get that out.
We do need to find a better way to make sure that emergency calls don't flood dispatch.
They've also been sent code red.
Right, that could have been provided. But at that point in September, that started in the first July, and we haven't really seen a reduction in the rate of, even though we signed the burn rate is high, ops tempo seems to be high, and this event. Now you layer this on top of it. What is our percentage? Do you know?
In my head, but I do know works director when he that those expenses with special projects, and I'm presuming it's to be done better than now. But I can find out our status of the DPP.
You know, I need to make sure I.
An appointment first to the Taxation Committee.
I move to place a name for appointments at tax for a term to expire 30/1/2015, 2015, with one opening 21.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Next will be appointments to the Capital Planning Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move to place a nomination of the following names for appointment to the Capital Planning Committee for a term to expire, and there's no date. No date on term to expire.
And some of these people are serving as members of this advisory committee in their official capacity. So, again, I think that needs to be specified if you're going to move forward with this. Again, in the past, we've had issues with people who no longer serve on the board.
All members as designated here are serving in the official capacity. Are you saying, Mr. O'Leary, that the motion has to state such?
I would suggest that we do that, and not that any of the suggested members here may cause an issue, but again, we've had issues in the past where
No, it's fine.
people have not stepped aside.
Yeah, actually, I think last year when we made appointments like this, we did add that kind of language. So we, I know we came up with something standard, I just can't remember what it was off the top of my head. Greg may know, but I
Steve, you have something to suggest?
Let me just find the motion, yeah, I know what you...
It's actually in the supplement.
That's in the supplement, okay.
think you have to start with, the intent is for the term to be indefinite, subject to official membership on a board. I think that was the intent.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm sure, but,
So why would you say that?
You know, probably can find it in last year's.
I don't know, I don't have I'm at a loss at this particular point without getting too wordy, but maybe we need to be, I don't know. I think we just have to be, and again, I know
Well,
you
it's, what about just for an indefinite term in their official capacities? Joseph Fode,
How
member
about
of Board of-
coterminous with their official capacity?
Say that again?
Coterminous with their official capacity.
Works for me.
It's fine. Simple enough.
Okay.
So, all right, so,
Can you read it one more time?
yeah, I'm gonna read it.
just for a term to be coterminous in their official
With their
capacity.
Yeah, coterminous with their official capacity. All right with that?
Yeah, I think that addresses it.
So, Mr. Chairman, I move to place a nomination of the following names for appointment to the Capital Planning Committee for a term to be coterminous with their official capacity. Joseph Fode, Board of Selectmen; Robert Messeri, Board of Selectmen; Elizabeth Paveo, Finance Director; Greg Valiukonis, Town Administrator; Kyle Nelson, School Department; Karen Ericetti, School Department; Abby Hurlbut, Finance Committee; Don Kelleher, Finance Committee.
Second.
Motion to second. Any further discussion? Mr. O'Leary.
Yeah, again, just following up on the initial discussion that we had, again, not reflective of anybody here. I'm not in favor of was not in favor of the formation of this particular committee. Again, I think it's diluting the authority of the town administrator as it's established under the charter. I think it's, if we have a problem with how something is either being executed or not being executed in relation to this particular item, which is the capital planning, and reporting to the board, then I think it's incumbent upon this board to hold the town administrator responsible. I don't think we should be injecting ourselves in assuming responsibilities that are not ours, when they're clearly those of the town administrator. So I will not be in support of the appointments, since I was not in support of formation of the committee. But I think this is a fine group of individuals who will serve us well, should the majority of the board move forward.
Anyone else?
I would suggest that perhaps once this committee gets together, is that we kind of draft up a mission statement that would assure that the committee doesn't overstep the responsibility of the town administrator.
That'd be fine. 8 members do that? Sure.
And maybe that should
Makes
be a charge from this board to them to clearly define. Well, actually, we should be defining it since we've appointed them, but anyway, they can suggest to the board as far as what a mission statement would be.
Sure, there's 4 potential members sitting here that they will
Almost a majority.
take what's been said and go to the full committee if they are appointed.
Because I don't know if the 4 of them sitting here would all be like-minded. Really? Oh, well, oh, good.
I have all the faith and confidence in this committee, and I see it as an asset to our town administrator to assist him, especially with our calendar and the other responsibilities that he has. And as we know, it's not contrary to our town charter, so I'm very much looking forward to this committee getting off the ground. We have a motion, and we had a second. Anything further? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
All right, item 11. First reading, draft policy, civil fingerprint bylaw. Mr. Valiukonis?
There's a motion, actually. I'll read the motion first, so you can make up the discussion.
Board had asked for clarification from Chief Murphy relative to the necessity of doing this on an annual basis. He feels that it's important to do so in the event someone commits a crime during the course of the year. Personnel changes within a business or an organization, he just feels that on an annual basis is the way to go, and that's his recommendation.
The fingerprinting of the same personnel year after year, to me, doesn't seem to make sense. I can understand if there's a new employee for a particular company who will come under this umbrella of this bylaw, but someone's fingerprints are someone's fingerprints.
We agree.
The police department can then take those fingerprints and run those fingerprints how often they wish to determine whether or not a person's been charged with any sort of criminal offense throughout the country. So I'm not clear as to what the chief is saying. Is that
on something like a liquor license, you have the authority to approve the manager, who would be the person that would be fingerprinted. But there are many other licenses, for example, secondhand licenses and pawnbroker licenses, which are issued to a business and not specific to an individual. The chief doesn't want to be in the role of policing those businesses throughout the course of the year to see when there's a turnover in personnel. If someone may have a criminal background, it's unlikely that they will come forward and voluntarily notify the police department of a change in personnel. So he feels that by bringing them in an annual basis, it puts the responsibility on the business and forces them in turn to come in and report to the police department.
So I think there's a communication breakdown here, or a misunderstanding of what the intent is. I view the intent as every single individual is going to fit into this category that may be employed by a company or an individual required to get fingerprinted and pay a fee. So I think it seems to me the chief's concern is that if a business has 10 employees and there's some turnover, then that's why they need to come back on an annual basis and report. I see no need to re-fingerprint anybody, but I do see a need for some re-clarification of how that whole process would work.
right?
Right now, it works very simply that they're all forced and compelled to come in to go through the fingerprinting process annually, without any
Makes no
exception.
sense.
But if
No, that's not what, I don't think he said that.
forcing someone to come in and retake fingerprints year after year makes no sense. The fingerprints are the fingerprints. Those are not going to change. I can see having them report as to who your employees are, and if you have a new employee, that employee would have to come in and have their fingerprints taken. But if John Doe has worked for this company for 10 years, you mean 10 years in a row, he's going to come in and have his fingerprints taken? That makes no sense.
Yep.
None whatsoever. Because it already be on file with our police department. They can simply say, okay, 9 out of these employees were from last year. Run these prints. The new person, employee number 10, come in, have your fingerprints taken, and then you run those prints. It just doesn't. It seems to be an unnecessary.
I'm trying to explain to the chief, I think it's appropriate that he come in and explain it to you.
Well, he did in his email, because you said that we raised the concern in relation to the annual fingerprinting, if there's no change in the license holder. His response was, because they could have committed a crime during the year of their license, without verification, we will not know.
But the fingerprints don't change.
No, I know the fingerprints don't change. I mean, and again, I don't know what the methodology is, but I mean, if whoever we have on file with their fingerprints, we could run an annual check on it. We could run or a semi-annual check on
He
it.
simply wants to go through each business and put a check mark next to that business. He doesn't want to be chasing down and figuring out whether this person has changed or there's a new person that's changed.
I don't have
Bring in
it.
the whole room.
Yeah, that's not an issue. I can see having the business report on an annual basis. I think the difference is the unnecessary step of having an employee who's been there year after year to come in and retake those fingerprints.
Right, that's all a business has to do is resubmit the names, and any new names, they come in for a fingerprint, and any existing fingerprints that are on file, they'll have the name.
I think there's something missing
And
between
again,
the
I'm not looking
communication with the chief.
to impose a $100 fee per person
Right.
either, initially on these businesses, particularly the local businesses. The hawkers and
Right.
peddlers I have less of a concern with. And the other question I had too is, if we have carnival in town, does a carnival, I don't know that they're covered necessarily.
Oh, they're covered.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, I was looking at the the definitions here, is, hawkers and peddlers. Are they considered hawkers and peddlers? I don't know.
I think broadly they would fit in
Door to
that
door,
category.
let's see,
I
manager of
hope they fit
alcohol license,
underneath
owner
that
of operator
category.
of public conveyance, dealer of secondhand articles, pawn dealers, hackney drivers, and ice cream truck vendors. Doesn't say anything about carnival workers, which we've had in the past. So, that was just, I'm sorry, that was an afterthought too, after I actually studied it a little more closely. But, back to the other point, same thing, I don't think we should be charging these people $100 annually if they've already been fingerprinted. I guess I don't have a problem with the businesses being required to report to the police department their list of employees and indicating whether or not they have been fingerprinted or not. And I know the police department doesn't want to have to get into checking the lists, but as we impose these bylaws and things, we have to assume some sort of administrative responsibilities without charging fees for people who are paying property taxes to support
Going
police
back to the
department.
very beginning of this, I thought this was by engaging in this program, the police chief now would have access to this national database.
Correct. That's right.
So I guess I don't get the need to re-fingerprint. I mean, it makes no sense.
I don't recall
at
him
all.
ever saying that.
I think this.
That's what he's still calling
I
for.
think we got a communication
Yeah, I think-
issue here, and I think,
I
Greg,
think
maybe
should-
we need to get
Good
the
idea to
chief
have him
back.
come in.
Christmas?
2 weeks from now.
Is this the,
That agenda to the 19th is getting very long.
is this the second reading or the first?
Or
reading?
assign someone to
First.
sit
I know
down
we
with
did
the
a reading
chief and
already,
try
but
to
that
sort
wasn't-
it out.
How about if, I'll take the task, I'll contact Chief Murphy and discuss it with him. How's that? Maybe we can resolve it without having him come in on the 19th or any other date. I'll take that.
That's pretty
It's
good.
okay, but some may have questions, but yeah, if you can get it resolved, great.
I like that idea.
And also ask them about the carnivals.
So I'm writing down,
It's a really
just
good
put a
point.
C down, Carnival.
Carnival workers.
Yeah.
Carnival, annual fingerprint, I'll take that. All right.
True.
Yeah, look at this. Town administrators report,
Um,
moving right along.
I did have an opportunity to do a written report, so please bear with me while I read it this evening. I was involved in negotiations until late this afternoon. Notice was received from the North Reading firefighters, Local 1857, requesting negotiations commence on a successive collective bargaining agreement, which expires on June 30th, 2013. The strategy that the board has employed has worked well, which is to appoint a negotiation team consisting of the town administrator and members of the Board of Selectmen to be assembled to meet with the union. So I would ask that the board consider the same. This is the only contract that expires in June of 2013. The other contracts
that?
all expire, excuse me?
Which one is this?
Fire.
Oh, fire.
Fire contract.
I don't recall, who was part of that negotiating team last time?
You
We
and
are,
Bob.
Bob.
You and Bob.
How about that?
How about
How
that?
about that? Worked well, same team?
Sure.
Great,
All right,
thank you.
you're good?
I like the fact they're proactive in wanting to sit down and negotiate.
Pretty early.
advanced. No, that's good, no, that's a good thing.
Yeah, well, in years past, I mean, some of these things have gone on, into the second, third year, so.
Oh, yeah. To update the board on the Fire Chief Assessment Center, the results have been received. As you know, we have a civil service department, and we have to go through a civil service hiring procedure, and an assessment center is part of that. There were 2 individuals that did participate in the assessment center, Acting Chief Warnock and Acting Deputy Chief Barry Galvin. I'm pleased that both of those individuals did receive passing scores. So that is wonderful and great news. And we also will be appointing a permanent deputy chief. As the board may be aware, there was a separate civil service examination that was administered. And as part of that examination, we had 2 individuals that passed the exam. That would be Acting Chief Galvin and firefighter Matthew Carroll, both to be commended for the work that they did in passing that examination. So that will mean that there will be 2 permanent civil service positions at the top of the department that will be filled, with the remaining one being the permanent fire captain, which needs to be filled.
And we have an active list on that?
We do have an active list on that until, I believe it's May of 2013.
And we anticipate making that appointment before that list expires?
Absolutely.
Mr. Messeri?
When will you be making a decision on the chief and deputy fire chief?
Yeah, I need to, soon. I think as I put in here soon, so between now and the end of the year, sooner the better. I want to get permanent people on board as soon as possible.
Now, between now and our next meeting. Well, you have the results in,
Yeah.
right? I don't see any further delay being
I
necessary.
don't have a conversation with the people, that's all.
Yeah.
There's no reason why it can't take place, as you said, as soon as possible.
We can sort of stop the spigot down there, soon we can fill these positions.
It's true. It's true. Any other questions on the assessment centers? I'm in receipt of a signed license agreement on the Hillview Commission with the Horseshoe Grill for the Hillview Function and Restaurant Facility. As you know, the board has a public hearing coming up on that Wednesday evening concerning transfer of the liquor license. I did want to report that the Hillview Commission and Mr. Lee have executed the license agreement. I have it on my desk. I'd like to review it and take action on it before Wednesday evening, but I do have it at this time. It's been signed off on by all parties. For public information purposes, the license becomes effective January 1 of 2013. It's for a 5-year term. And then there is also a second 5-year term which may be exercised at the discretion of the town. So total initial term is 5 with an additional 5 years that may be executed. We're through a request for proposal process, which is a competitive process that the town engages in, where the qualifications and the financial status of each of the contractors is considered. We received 2 bids, one from Mr. Lee and the Horseshoe. The second bid that came in was from D&D Golf Enterprises, which has operated the facility at its present location since I believe it's the late 1980s. I know the Hillview Commission went through an extensive review process over a period of many months and an extensive negotiation process over a period of many months. I'm pleased to see that they finally have a signed agreement with Mr. Lee this fall.
Thank you.
One last statement. At the last meeting, there was considerable discussion about the creation of a capital planning committee. And during the course of the meeting, I had made some comments to the board that I thought were disrespectful. And looking back at the videotape of the meeting, I misunderstood some of the comments from Selectman Fode, and I want to apologize for that. And just wanted to indicate that I regretted those comments.
Thank you, but, thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Not necessary.
All right. Greg, at one point in time, MAPC was supposed to come in for a presentation. Did that get postponed?
Yes. We originally were going to schedule it for this
Tonight?
evening,
Yeah.
and it's been postponed. We'd like to get it in before the board sometime during the month of December.
Throw it on the 19th, everything else.
No, definitely not on the 19th. That's the one date that I know it's not going to happen.
All right. I think we're moving right along to old and new business. Not bad this evening, I must say. Mr. Terozzi, very happy with the progress so far? Maybe I spoke too soon. We haven't got down to Mr.
Well, we're meeting Wednesday, that's why it's gone so fast.
Mr. O'Leary.
Let me see, I just have a few things. First of all, the congratulations to your son
Oh, thank you.
for qualifying for the state tournament and in golf, and his score is something that I will never achieve.
Steve,
Fun
ne-
night.
neither will I.
And the funny thing was, what I read with interest online there today is that he enjoys the sport so much because it's one of those things that he can actually beat his dad in. And, so,
Gets a sense of humor from
He's
his
gonna
mother.
get that,
Yeah.
he's gonna get that in.
But no, that's quite a feat as a freshman, no, not even just as a freshman, just as any member of the North Reading golf team in qualifying for the state tournament, and which I understand he participated in today. I'm sure he did well, and congratulations to you and he.
Thank you very
That's
much.
great.
Appreciate that.
And groundbreaking the other day, Saturday up at the middle school, high school, again, secondary school building committee, which you've spent a lot of time with. Again, to be congratulated, another milestone that
Starting to chip away at
that
it.
is starting to chip away at, and now just looking forward to the ribbon cutting. But but that's great. You know, it's finally underway, and the groundbreaking ceremony was actually handled very nicely and went along well, and the hot cider and cider donuts were good too.
Came in handy.
But, you know, congratulations again for moving the project forward, and to the administrator too for his participation in it, but really it was good, terrific. I got a call from someone on North Street. I'd just like to make, all the board members, I don't know if you got a call or not, but right at the corner of North Street where Pine Ridge Road is. There's one family that's been tormented there for years, just because of the curve and the curvature on the road. And we have made some attempts over the last few years to rectify the situation as best we can, but just once again, probably for at least a dozen times since they've lived in the household, maybe more. A car ended up in their front yard, heading westbound on North Street. I really think that it's incumbent upon the town to take a look at putting up some sort of guardrails, and maybe looking again at what are they, roughing up the streets there, what's it called, when you put the grooves in the street to slow people down going around that corner.
Grooves in the street.
Huh?
Grooves in the street.
Grooves in the street, yeah, grooves in the street, but just some sort of measures to...
Traffic calming device?
Okay, traffic calming devices, which we've had a lot of discussion about lately, but that's been a treacherous corner for years.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's
And
terrible.
whoever lives in that
actually
house
good,
over
yeah.
the years has always fallen victim to, actually, it's 2 or 3 homes there
Yeah.
over the years. So I think we need to look at some sort of aesthetically pleasing guardrail system or something in concert with those neighbors to protect them, protect their property. I don't know what everybody else's feeling is, but if we could just have the DPW director, and I know he has worked with this family last year quite extensively, and had discussions with them, but I think there's more that needs to be done.
The term aesthetically pleasing is the issue.
Yes.
Well, I know.
I think of the barrier on 62 they put up, remember years ago, on that corner there before they changed the intersection around a little bit?
Where, Orchard Drive?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You mean the offset telephone poles? No.
Yeah, I mean...
No, I know. And I don't think a
cars
metal
are always in
guardrail
the
is it, but I mean,
garage,
there
yeah,
are some
basically.
guardrail systems that actually, I think would be amenable to some of the residents there to protect their property. And I think if we could engage some sort of conversation and take a look at some resources to address it, we should. I don't know what the other...
I absolutely agree. Actually, I didn't get the call. My brother got the call, so that was nice.
That was good.
So I went to his house, and
Yeah.
he acted as a good secretary and reported it to me, so no. But I agree, it's a very difficult corner. It's a lot of speed that people pick up going to and from either direction on North Street, so signage, getting speed, turning signs,
If you
whatever.
have a house number, it would be helpful.
Yeah,
I get it for
I'll
you.
give you the details.
That'd be helpful.
Okay, I'll give you the details, but Mr. Cannavale's already,
He knows.
he's well aware of them, and talked with the people previously. And again, we put up some signage already, which is somewhat helpful, but I think we need to take some more extreme measures in order to protect their property. And I think the residents would be amenable to engaging some sort of discussion with us to have it happen. Because as it turns out, they keep putting up fences anyway, generally at the insurance company's expense, but someone else is knocking it down all the time. But that certainly isn't going to protect the property or their kids
That's right.
or anybody else that's maybe in the driveway or in the front yard. It's tough. It's a tough corner. So, and one last thing is tomorrow's election day. And, it's funny, just the last couple of weeks, former Senator George McGovern passed away, and it gave me a little bit of pause because I think he was one of the first guys I ever voted for. And proud to say, don't blame me, I'm from Massachusetts, back in 1972.
I was just trying to figure out if I was born or not.
1972. 1972. But really, I mean, there's an awful lot for everybody's consideration, and I think everybody's fairly well engaged and exhausted. I don't know, there's going to be so much free airtime on television after tomorrow.
Looking forward to that.
Looking
Me
forward
too.
to it.
I think everybody
I'm
is
actually
at
kind of
this
looking
point.
forward to the car commercials, or something like that.
Want Bernie and Phil?
Yeah, even Bernie and Phil, right. But really, I would urge everybody to get out there and actively participate, and whatever your persuasion is and whatever your interests are, go out there and vote your interests and vote the interests of our town, state, and our country. So please get out there and participate. I know the turnout's going to be great, so be patient as you go there and probably have to wait in line. That's a good thing. And the weather's going to be cooperative, and I look forward to see what the end results are of things. But I got to tell you, the races are tight all the way up and down the ballot. So I wish our clerk's office and all of their assistants the best of luck tomorrow trying to get through the day. But again, I urge everybody to get out and vote. And once again, Senator McGovern was a great guy. One other thing, if I might, as a point of personal privilege, happy to announce that my mother had a birthday this past week, and I want to wish her a happy birthday. And I think at this particular stage, she wouldn't mind me announcing that she was turned 93. So.
Awesome.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Happy birthday.
That was my first thing.
Was it?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. O'Leary. Mr. Fode.
Mr. Chairman, I actually want to take this opportunity to commend the town administrator and all his departments on the preparations in response to hurricane. I didn't get the chance to say it before. As you know, I was at my EOC most of the day too, so it was great to come home and see the town and the condition it was in after spending an exhausting day myself. So please make sure you tell everybody what a great job they did.
Long day for all of us.
Unfortunately, it was not as bad as it could have been, so we're fortunate. Again, to reiterate what Steve said, great job on the groundbreaking. I thought that was very well attended on Saturday.
Yeah.
And what a great job Janelle Yule did on singing the national anthem. One of the first times I actually heard her sing, and she did a great job, very impressive. A couple other things, just Relay for Life Planning Committee is meeting on Wednesday at 6 p.m. at Aldersgate Church to work on next year's event, and the dates for next year's event will be May 31st and June 1st. I also want to congratulate the boys varsity soccer team for a great season. I know they made it to the tournament. I think they come up a little short yesterday, unfortunately, but they had a great season overall, and I thought they should be commended for that. Greg, just one quick question. Do you know if Mr. Carnevale contacted Mass DOT regarding scheduling a meeting on the Chestnut New Street?
I do. I know that he reached out to Mass DOT regarding that issue, and I have not heard back from him on a date, but yes, I did ask him to do that. And I know he's done it. I just haven't heard back from him at this point.
Okay, thank you very much.
But I will touch base with him again.
Thank you. And again, remember to vote tomorrow. It's very important, and as Steve said, it's all very close races, so no matter how you vote, just make sure you go out there and do it. Thank you.
Mr. Fode. Mr. Marcelo.
Great, just a question regarding the polling place tomorrow. Obviously, this is, I think, the second time we'll have had an election. It's going to put, large volume of people through there. And I know Barbara Stats does a great job of planning, but I'm assuming that there'll be adequate details out there to deal with potential traffic issues.
No doubt. And the biggest concern is people who are crossing the street from the shopping plaza.
Right, yeah. True.
If they're all on one side of the street, it's not as bad of a situation as when it's dark, and as you know, it's dark early, and people decide they want to scoot across the street. It is a major concern. And I'll make sure that it's addressed.
I've done this privately, but I want to congratulate the entire team that worked so hard over the storm, and it made things successful. It's been said a number of times, but I think it deserves to be said again. I want to apologize to my board for not being able to attend the groundbreaking at the school. As you know, I'm a big champion of the school project, and unfortunately my wife planned to have us in Seattle over the weekend, so I couldn't attend, but I hear that it went off quite well, and I'm pleased that that's happened. And I think that's all I have at the moment. Mike?
In regards to the election, I just want to make one point. There's 4 questions on the ballot, and I would suggest to folks listening at home that are still listening to take the opportunity to read them at home before you go in. I think it would actually be very helpful to the whole process if you have the answers to those questions. Not that I'm rushing anyone, but we are limited on space, and it's going to be a very big turnout, and if you at least have done some reading in advance, I think it'll help you get through the process a little faster, and will also help Greg's staff to getting folks in and out of the place as well. Wednesday evening, we are having another Board of Selectmen meeting at 7 o'clock, and one of the items on the discussion is talking about tax classification, which we will set our tax rate on at our November 19th meeting. I encourage the public to come to the meeting. One of the main things I had asked for to be on the agenda is just understanding how we go through the process when we set our assessments for the residential properties and our commercial properties. So we'll be getting a little bit of education on that, and we'll also be receiving some data, some historical data. And one of the things you're going to learn over the last 10 years, from 2003 to 2012, the residential home assessment's gone up 32%. And what you'll see is the commercial property assessment's only gone up 7.2% over the same 10-year period. We're going to learn about that. We're going to understand why. I think it's really important that this board understands that as we go into making our decision on the 19th. So I encourage the public to please come on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock in this room. Let's see, next thing. Hurricane Sandy was talked about a lot, but really, I'd just like to take a minute to make sure people keep in mind as we go into the holiday season, as we're in our warm homes and with our families, there's a lot of displaced people out there, and this is the season for giving. And if you have an opportunity to do anything at all, these are our neighbors really in the East Coast with us that have been injured, have lost their homes, and I really would hope that the public, and even North Reading, I haven't heard of anybody in North Reading coming together to do anything special, but if there is, I'd like to know about it, and I'd encourage that some of the community try to, even on your own, make a donation or do whatever you can, because there's a lot of displaced people, and when you look at those photos, it's devastating. My heart goes out to those families. Greg, on Oakdale Road, and maybe Steve, I'm not sure if you noticed, but you're going up Oakdale Road and you're going home. Did you see that?
At the corner of Devon's, yeah, Devon's to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it appears as though, I think it's the owner of
I do
the
too.
property is blocking the storm drain.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
There's a storm drain, actually what's happening, I think what it is that the water's coming down and is
That
missing the
makes
storm
sense,
drain
though.
because it's coming down so such a rate of speed, and then takes a left into Devon's Road, and I think washes out the end of the dirt section of Devon's Road. So there's only one resident down there, and he threw the sandbags down there.
Yes, well, this
And
morning.
now he's got a cone and something else.
Well, there wasn't cone there this morning, and I was taking my daughter to school down Oakdale, and a bus was coming down the street. And as you know, it's not that wide, especially when you have that, it looks like a railroad tie sticking out with a
Yes, that's
sandbag on it. And what happened was the rear tire of this person's car clipped it. It's because they had to move over because the school bus was coming. And I had never seen that before, so I wasn't
Yeah,
sure.
I was
Maybe
going
we
to
can get-
offline suggest to the
Okay.
town administrator that the police department just take a look and find out what's going on at DPW, and
Yeah.
from a public safety standpoint, same thing. You know,
I was
obviously I travel up and down there all
shocked
the
at
time.
what that was.
So does
Me
Sean.
too.
But he's added to it. It was a sandbag,
Yeah,
and
and
the
now there's a
sandbag,
little-
the partial
What's
railroad
he trying
tie.
to do, deflect the water?
I think he's trying to prevent it
He's
from going down that end.
Putting it in the public way in order to divert the water running down Oakdale Road, going down into his dirt street, probably washing it out.
It is a busy road 5 days a week, so
So,
just wanted to
on
make you aware
Oakdale
of
and
it.
Devon's, heading up the hill on the right-hand side, can't miss it. Railroad ties, two sandbags, and there
Now
was
a
a
cone.
cone. A cone, right at the storm drain.
I probably missed it.
Yeah, but right at the storm drain, but you might want to,
DPW. I've got it.
No, I think he did.
DPW police, just take a look at it.
And the last thing is
Contact the owner.
our workshop that we have scheduled on the 15th, and I'm looking forward to that. And just want to confirm, it's still at Hillview, same time, we're doing 6:30, or is it 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. That's all I have. Thank you.
Dinner will be served, so don't eat.
Just a couple of things I have. Allison Kane, the theater arts director of North Reading High School, has invited the community to the North Reading High School Assembly honoring our veterans on this Friday, November 9th. That ceremony will take place beginning at 11:55 in the high school auditorium. So she invites the community. Hopefully, anyone who's able to attend will attend. I'm sure it'll be a good performance by the high school chorus. For those of you who didn't hear, Susan Magda, our Veterans agent, earlier this evening, our town Veterans Day celebration will take place Sunday, November 11th at 11 a.m. at Town Common. Hopefully, anyone that's able to attend will attend to honor all our veterans, which is a nice tie-in to our election tomorrow. If it was not for these people, men and women who go out and serve in our armed forces, who knows what would happen to our right to vote. It's a simple process. Show up at St. Teresa's, exercise your right to vote. Whatever side you're going to choose to select tomorrow is going to shape this country for many years to come. So please don't sit at home. Get out and vote. I'd like to see a tremendous turnout here in North Reading, statewide and countrywide. That's all I have for this evening.
Do we want to go?
Back in. Yeah. So, motion.
Do we want to talk about what we were talking about? More at length? And
Yes.
then the other matter, then he can excuse himself on the other
Right,
matter?
right. We'll go
Make a motion to go into executive session. Return to open session, just for the purpose of.
But executive session for the previous motion you made, just like the previous motion, the purpose of, collective bargaining, litigation, and any discussion that will take place will be detrimental.
Mr. Chairman, I move to enter into executive session for the purpose of the collective bargaining and litigation strategy. Such discussions in open session will have a detrimental impact on the town, and further, the Board of Selectmen will return to open session solely for the purpose of adjournment.
I'll second that.
Can I?
A motion and a second?
Second. Oh,
Any further discussion?
I thought you were asking me.
No, I have it. Thank you.
You're gonna have to go and drive around.
Mr. O'Leary?
Aye.
Mr. Fode?
Aye.
Mr. Misery?
Aye.
Mr. Prisco? The chair votes aye.